We watch hundreds of closings go down every quarter on the Paperstac platform, and we notice the 5 same buyer mistakes happening over and over again. Not different ones, the same mistakes. So in today's episode, we're going to show you those mistakes so you don't have to learn them the hard way.
Welcome back to the Paperstac Podcast. Rick Allen, my esteemed colleague, friend, bud, office mate, Brett Burky here.
Neighbor.
check.
He just can't get enough of me. He's
we're everywhere.
He's back. Oh my God, he's here again.
So we're back for another episode. As you probably know now, we're going to tell you, last episode we talked about 5 seller mistakes that people make. If you haven't watched that episode, go back and watch it. It really talks just directly to the sellers, but also if you're not selling, you're buying, it's a good thing for you to understand. But today, we're talking about the 5 buyer mistakes that we see. And you see them all.
Yeah.
You see them all. And there's more, but these are the 5 that's like, man,
you got to get those right.
We see these happen all the time. And this is more of a, if you can cross these 5 little mistakes off your list, one, you're going to be a preferred buyer, not by us, but by whoever is the sellers are. Once they do a deal with you and you've executed a deal and you didn't make these mistakes, you'll be like, that person knows what they're doing. This is basically how to be fast track to, at least conducting yourself like a pro.
Yeah, because some of these mistakes, of course, you don't do them and you're professional like Rick just talked about. They might have a bid that's higher with somebody else, but they've seen you close before and they're like, I don't know about this person. I know that you're a closer. So, and again, this episode's about the 5 mistakes. There's no name calling. We're not pointing anything out, like saying this, you do that. It just is what it is. This is just some of the things that happen. So with that, let's get into the first one.
All right. The first mistake that we see is people placing bids without really understanding the collateral file, or explaining to the seller, like, hey, I'm going to give you an indicative bid based on everything panning out. So what does that mean? A lot of times people think that, the fastest person to get a bid is the one that is going to get the deal. And it's really not the case. Is a lot of times the sellers will provide you with tons of collateral up front to review. So you can review the mortgage, the note, the chain of assignments, a BPO, a title policy. You can read through the seller comments. That's a huge part of making that bid, is really understanding what's going on there. An example might be, we talked last episode about the down payment amount. Like, what's the down payment amount? Look, if the loan was originated 10 years ago and is performing, the down payment amount's irrelevant. Now, going in there, and you'll get that by just reviewing the basic data facts that Paperstac and the sellers provide to you. And then if you're diving deeper into the mortgage or the note, that's great. You can get your list of questions, submit a bid, and have some questions that go along with it. Say, hey, my bid is based off of X, Y, or Z. That's going to make you come across as a credible buyer. If you're just going in there and you go to submit a bid and you say, I'm going to bid X amount of dollars, and I need you to go ahead and fill out this questionnaire, that's not running your due diligence up front. That's not doing a light overview of the asset. If you don't buy mobile homes or vacant land and you're submitting a bid and it's a mobile home or a piece of vacant land and that's disclosed up front, you're not doing your due diligence up front. You have no credibility. And what's going to happen is you're going to get down the transaction and this is going to come out and you're going to be like, oh, I don't buy these. You should just read the seller description. If collateral file is provided, run through it. Look at it. Look at the interest rate. Look at the principal balance, origination date, last pay date, all that information that's provided you. There's a lot of rich data there that will allow you to put together a good bid on an asset up front and immediate and have a quality start to your transaction.
Great. Rick, what is an indicative bid, just so people know?
So an indicative bid is basically saying, hey, contingent upon everything checking out, there's no past due taxes, it is what you say it is. If you say that it's a performing loan and the payment history validates that, it's basically saying, look, I'm going to give you this bid. I'm going to trust what you're telling me is all accurate, but I am going to go through and verify it. And if I go through to verify it and things come back differently than what you said, you can expect my price to come back probably differently than what I'm offering. Now, if everything checks out, that's my bid.
Why is an indicative bid important? Because what does that do right up front?
Well, one, it lets them know you're serious. And I mean, but it gets you like, look, here's my bid. This is my anchor point. This is what I'm starting off with. If things are wrong, it allows you to back it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would imagine that too. But also, if your indicative bid is not even acceptable, you just saved yourself a lot of time from digging through all the collateral.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you'd be like,
well, I can't accept that. It's like, well save
okay,
myself some time on that.
Yeah. So indicative bids are just let them know, hey, this is an indicative bid based on everything checking out, and then review the collateral, firm up your bid.
Sounds good. All right. So the second one really gets under my skin. I guess I'm going to say that instead of chaps my ass, but I guess either or.
You just said it.
Is bidding without having your funds set up. This is something that it's like, what? You knew this was coming,
you
right?
mean going shopping without the cash ready to go?
It's like going to the cash register and going, I got to go to the car and get my wallet. I mean,
I did that.
You did that?
I did it last week on accident. I left my wallet here. I went to fill the snack station at the office, and
oh God, really?
Yeah, I got there and I don't know why. I was like, I checked out and I go, I don't have my wallet.
Oh, geez.
So that's funny that you say that. But yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? Really, what you're doing is you're wasting your time. You're wasting the seller's time. And
yeah,
the seller could be sitting there, and if you don't have your funds ready to go, he may have 10 other people who are ready to go. And for some reason, he liked your offer or something like that. So if you don't, what do you do if you don't have your funds ready to go?
I mean, I would tell them up front, because by the time you're getting to the part where you're supposed to wire, you're already in closing. So this person's tied up with you. And nothing makes them more angry than them thinking, this dude's shopping my loan. This guy's or gal's going out there trying to sell my loan for a higher price, say that they have the money, but they don't have the money. It just makes for a bad experience. And then all you do, if you drag it out and you don't fund, and then the seller gets pissed and they block you and you never see their stuff again.
So this happens, and I'll give you an example of when I've seen this happen, when the buyer actually has the funds, but they can't get the funds.
Oh, I wonder where's this coming from?
An IRA. If you have a self-directed IRA, retirement account, 401k, and your custodian requires 27 hoops to jump through to get your money transferred, whether it's a directive of investment or they need to see the assignment already executed, which, by the way, is never going to happen. It will always be in draft form. Nobody is going to sign the loan over until the money is in the bank. But that's an instance where I see this one. This is not like a quarterly thing or a month. This is a weekly issue that we see, is that, hey, we've entered into closing. We're ready to go. I'm initiating the wire with my self-directed retirement account, and it can take not days, but it can take weeks for that money to be wired to the escrow account. So if you are buying with your self-directed retirement funds, find out exactly what your custodian will need and be upfront with your seller. Say, listen, I've already got the ducks in a row. I've got my checklist of stuff they need, but it is a self-retirement account, and it will take a little bit longer than me just going to my bank and initiating a wire. That's very important.
Yeah, and I think you just accidentally covered number 4. We could skip over 3. We'll go to 4, which is, if you're doing it with a self-directed IRA, make sure you have your ducks in a row.
Okay, number 4, buyer mistake. It is that, and we'll go right to that one, and that one could just be number 3, and then we'll move 3 into number 4.
Okay,
it's fine. Yeah, that's important because, look, unfortunately, each custodian is different.
Yeah,
and
weird.
And they're not just different from one custodian to the next. They can be different from one account manager to the next inside the same custodian.
Yeah, I have a feeling they just have like a wheel, fortune type wheel. They just kind of spin it and say they need this.
And we appreciate the custodians out there. And there's a couple great ones that we work with that are just fantastic, and it's seamless, and it's literally, you can have something moved within a day. Mm-hmm. But there's other ones out there where it's like, the checklist of stuff they need. I could have 2 assets going on with the same same company, and it's changing from one client to the next within the same custodian. So just understand your custodian, be transparent with your whoever's selling the loan so that they understand, like, hey, I'm a real buyer. I've got these funds. This is kind of the issues I'm running into right now.
And with that, when you're talking to your custodian, one thing that will help us out and help the seller out is that if they're reviewing the documents, get their stamp of approval that they've done everything. Because there's a lot of times they'll review the documents and say, okay, that looks good. And then then like a week later, like, oh, you need to change the book and page. Well, why didn't you say that the first time? And then you change the book and page, and then a week later, like, oh, you probably need to add this. I'm like, give it to us all up front. I want your stamp of approval. This is everything. So we're not doing this whole back and forth thing. We have one that's been going on for how long? 3 months?
Yeah.
Insane. It's insane. It's like they just keep going back and they just add stuff. I'm like, where are you even coming up with stuff?
Yeah, it's insane. It is. And look, we're willing to work with the custodians and everything like that. And I hope I'm not doing another one here, but also make sure that you have the vesting.
Oh, shoot. That was number 5.
Make sure you have your vesting exactly right. And this is not just for custodians. So that's a big one because they're very particular on how they want your title or how they're taking title to it as your custodian. It's got to be very detailed. But also, if you're doing this and you're JVing with somebody or you and a partner are buying it, please understand that, like, hey, this is how everything is going to be titled and vested, and understand that before you get into the closing, because we can backtrack and redo documents, but it just adds time to the closing and it frustrates everybody involved. And
especially if they want to roll it out of closing. You get to a certain point in the closing where the collateral's with the auditor, the money's with the escrow agent. If you're like, oh, we need to change the PSA, it's like, look, we'll just give you another one. Just sign it off the line. Because if you do that, you unravel this. Now they're sitting there going, where's this collateral file go to? Because I don't have the audit order anymore. And the funds at escrow is like, I have these money in my account. I don't know what's that wire code. It's a different wire code because a new one would have to be done. So the sooner you can get all this stuff. I mean, what I would do is if you're doing your vesting, get your vesting, take a screenshot, send it to them, saying this is what I'm using. Because a lot of times it'll be the stuff that, hey, I got my FBO right. And they're like, oh, later down the line, like, well, you put your own address in. Why was it supposed to be your address? And they'll say, and that's a weird one. Sometimes it's their address. Sometimes it's the buyer's address. It's
different.
Who's signing? Is it Sidra signing or is the person signing? Like, there's just so many things with that vesting that if you just take a screenshot, hey, this is what I got. Give me the stamp of approval and I'm going forward. Because otherwise, you get down the line and that's Simon, launches and PSAs and oh my, so then.
Oh my. All right.
And I think we might have hit them all.
That's only 4?
Well, it's 4.5, I think. Okay, then I'll give you one bonus tip that actually can make you stand out from the rest of the buyers out there. Is when you're buying, it kind of goes with the idea of making your offer. Make your offer based off the yield and not just I'm going to drop it by 10 G's because I feel like it.
Yeah, or don't go through the platform. This is a good way to get banned, is if you go through and just go to every single listing and offer 20 grand underneath what it's listed for, it throws a red flag in our system and you'll get your account frozen because you're just Christmas treeing the site, and that's not a good experience for our sellers, and that's not somebody we think is going to be a productive member of the ecosystem, if you will.
Yeah, and worst one is you're buying the note, not the house. I've seen that one before, and I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah. Or view the assets tab. What's the address? It's on there. It's on there. We put the address on there. So I think that's everything we got for this one. Pretty good one, huh?
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, that's fun. So
all right, so the list, and there are a couple we missed, so we'll just touch on them real quick. But bidding without reading the collateral or letting them know it's an indicative bid. That's number 1. The second one is bidding without having your funds ready to go. That's another one. Self-directed retirement accounts, like not letting them know you're buying with a self-directed retirement account and not having all the information you need from your custodian. Mm-hmm. We didn't touch on this. Going silent or going dark as a buyer, it's important. Keep the lines of communication open. If there's something going on there, let them know what's up. Say, hey, waiting on a BPO waiting on a title report. Just keep lines of communication open. Because what can happen is if you're not in closing and you have a verbal agreement and you go dark, they may assume that you've gone, that you're shopping this. They might sell it to somebody else. And then the last one, and this is one that I see all the time. Not all the time. When it shows up, and I'm like, I can't believe this hasn't been recorded. Record your assignments and record your deeds.
Yeah.
If it's a land contract or a contract for deed, make sure you record it. If there's an assignment of mortgage, assignment of deed of trust, assignment of seller's interest in a land contract, if that's been recorded, you need to make sure those things get recorded. Mm-hmm. We've had people come back 3 years later saying, I never got this recorded, or we'll reach out to somebody because we get notice from the person that sold it. It says, this is still in my name. And it's like, oh, the buyer never recorded the actual transfer. And what that does is it puts you to where you're not in the chain of title, and you may hold the collateral file, but somebody could technically resell it. And you don't want that to happen. Most of the time it washes out when there's taxes involved.
Yeah.
And somebody's saying, look, I'm still getting notice of past due taxes on this. I sold it 18 months ago. And we go, well, we'll go research it and be like, yeah, that assignment, they never recorded it. So it's a service that we offer. It's an additional service. If you want us to do the recording, check with us at closing. Otherwise, make sure you're giving it to somebody to have that recorded with the county so you can show proof of ownership.
Yeah, because the longer it goes, the harder it is if something gets rejected to track the seller down.
Yeah.
That seller might have, who knows, 3 years from now, they're like, what the heck?
If they're winding down a fund and they close that fund down,
ooh,
you could be in trouble. So, yeah, those are the things as a buyer you don't want to do. Cross those off your list, make you act like a pro on the platform. But I think that's it for this one. We've got more episodes to follow. Like Brett said, if there's something you want to see, just leave a comment and we will touch on that subject. But we do have a lot of short form content coming out on YouTube Shorts and on probably on TikTok or something along those lines. So stay tuned and you'll see us there.